Hey everyone, welcome to Millennium Computers online 5-minute tutorial series. Today's course is going to take a quick look at a new function in fast budget and forecasting, and that is how do I make end user edits using the new data entry pop-up in fast budget and forecasting. Now this particular function can be enabled by your administrators within the application to be available in both budget development as well as the forecasting module. I'm going to do today's example using the forecast piece, but I just want to point out it works exactly the same way under development and under budget using the summary reports on the budget development side. Now I happen to have accessed my summary by hierarchy forecast report, which is the highest level of summary. So to find it, go to development, go to forecast, and then choose one of the three levels of summary, either hierarchy, focal, or account detail. Now, eventually what we're trying to do here is get to the summary by account detail. That data entry pop-up is only available at the operating statement or account detail level. Now, to find this, there's a couple different ways we can get there. One is I could certainly jump directly to my account detail menu option if I know exactly what I'm looking for. Here's where things get a little bit tricky, and I'm going to walk you through a couple potential pitfalls that you might run into just so you can avoid running into them. Now from this page, I can certainly narrow this by using a fund org combination. Let me show you what happens if I use my fund search box. You'll notice that most of my funds have child records. And what that means is if I choose, for example, fund 10,000, like this, I'm not going to get where I want to go. And I'm going to touch on this as we work through the course, but let me uncheck that for now. Fund 10,000 has child records. So if I expand this record, these are all the fund codes that roll up to 10,000. You'll notice, in fact, that this fund code here also has child records. You have to open up each element to expose the lowest level. You need to select a child record, in other words, a data enterable code to be able to make edits once we get down to the operating statement level. If you've begun on a roll-up, you're never going to be able to do the edits using the pop-up that I'm talking about. So let's talk about the other way we can do this. If I wanted to, I could actually summarize the organization based on my fund org security by leaving this page blank and just simply clicking execute. The other option I could do is narrow this down by fund type or by account type. Once I reach my summary by hierarchy, notice there are a few different levels within my particular fund code structure. Now what I need to do is now dive into one of these funds. I'm going to choose fund 10,000 and click on it to expand the details. From here, I'm going to select the next fund code and once again, open it up and break out the details. Now in this case, notice I've reached the point where these particular fund codes do not have child funds. In other words, these are the data enterable levels of the fund. Now I'm going to click on fund 10100. And that's going to bring me to my summary by focal. In this case, I can see the fund code I've selected, and I'm now organizing this page by org code. So now I can see all of the org codes relating to this particular child fund. Now, of course, I can reorganize this page in any way I want, but we've touched on the navigation in quite a bit of detail in other tutorials. What I really want to get to is how to use that elusive pop-up. So what we would do now is just choose one of these org codes. I'm going to choose this first one, org code 1010. Once you click on an org code, I've reached the summary by account detail, which is also called my operating statement. You'll notice a breakout of revenues, labor, benefits, expenses, and so on. Now from here, I can actually access my Q3 and Q4 forecast details, and you'll notice they are blue, signaling there's a hyperlink here. If the data entry pop-up has been enabled in my institution for my forecast series, here's what's going to happen. Let's find an expense category that we'd like to make an edit to. How about I choose my general supplies category? Now I can edit either my Q3 or Q4 forecast details, and keep in mind, you guys, there are 5 different forecast models. This is just one of them. I happen to like the quarterly model. If you guys are using monthly forecasting or any of the different models, it's going to look slightly different than what you see here. Let's choose a category and then choose a quarter that we'd like to edit. Just click on that amount. In this case, I'm going to make an edit to my Q4 forecast for my supplies general account code. Notice the base of 1500. If I'd like to perhaps make an edit later on in the fiscal year, I can key in that amount here. I have to enter comments. And when you're ready, just click the Save button. Now in this case, my Q4 forecast has automatically been updated with $1,000 to bring the total to $2,500. Notice the details here. I'm sitting at my summary by account level detail, and I'm looking at the data enterable levels of Fund 10100 and Org 1010. This is an important distinction and very important process to consider when using the pop-up box on either your forecast or budget development menus. If you access the Summary by Account Detail menu directly off your main development menu, be sure, under Filter Options, you choose a fund code that does not contain child records. It's important to reach the bottom of that hierarchy before executing the report. Now here's a thing to be aware of before we close off today's course. Let's suppose I do choose the roll-up. Let's go ahead and choose Fund 10,000, keep the org at 1010, and execute this report, just simulating what might happen. Now in this case, it kind of looks the same. We still have our filter trail indicating a fund code, we have the correct org, but here's what's going to happen. When I access one of my data enterable fields, such as my Q3 or Q4 forecast, let me show you what happens if I click now on that same data enterable field, Q4 forecast, for supplies general. Instead of giving me that quick and easy data entry pop-up, it's brought me directly to my main data entry screen. And that's okay. I can certainly enter new records on this page. However, the pop-up is not going to be available unless I've reached the data entry level of that particular fund code. Let's go back now to my Summary by Account Detail and go back to Filter Options. For a little bit more help or for some custom budget and forecasting training for your department, send me a quick email. And thanks for watching this 5-minute tutorial.